Hello and welcome back to another Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon video. Today we're going to be talking about the best two-handed weapons in the game. So if you haven't seen it already, I actually already did a video for one-handed weapons, so if you're looking for that, it does exist on the channel. I've already released it. And that video is full of tons of useful information, just like this one. The only difference is we focused on a different type of weapons there. We did one-handed weapons that time, whereas this time we're doing two-handed weapons. So basically, there's a lot of nuance to weapons in this game because technically, absolutely any weapon you like in the game can be made extremely good, because you can take any weapon that you find or buy or whatever, and you can bring it up into the castle where we are, down in the bottom left-hand part of the map, to where my character is, and you can bring them to this blacksmith, and for money, he will upgrade them for you. And there does not appear to be an upper limit, and the vast majority of weapons can be upgraded. So, that being said, if you just want to pick one that you really like the look of and upgrade it, you totally can. But the point of this guide is to show you which ones are just the best bang for your buck, and which ones are, in my opinion, the most worth upgrading. Because you can get any of them up to dealing, say, something ridiculous like 300 damage per hit, but it's just going to take much longer with certain weapons than it will with others. So, let's just go through the ones that I've selected, which is so there's basically 4 categories of two-handed weapons, but most of them fall into 2 categories. There's extremely heavy, which only one falls into. There's heavy, which most of them fall into. There's medium, which only one falls into, and that one happens to be my favorite two-handed weapon. And then there's very heavy, which a good chunk of them fall into. So we're going to be doing, I'll show you the 2 outliers that are very interesting weapons and a lot of people will like because of how unique they are. But then we'll also do the top 5 for the heavy and the very heavy. So let's just get started. So the first one we're going to be looking at is this ridiculous weapon you can see my character holding right there. I think this one might be an homage to like Dark Souls or something like that, just because of the specific stats that the weapon has. So this one is called the Cracked Stone Sword, and you get this, or you can get this during one of the early main missions where you're going through an underground crypt, and one of the stone sentinel type things in there will attack you, and if you kill him, he drops this. So that is how you get your hands on the Cracked Stone Sword. As far as stats for this one, the reason I think it's an homage or maybe a criticism of Dark Souls or the Dark Souls games is because if you look at it right there, the weight says 100, and so it's ridiculously heavy. It's by far the heaviest weapon in the game, but that makes sense considering it appears to be made out of stone, and it is absolutely massive, so this thing would be ridiculously heavy. So I think that could be poking fun at FromSoft for making their weapons always so ridiculous, even though that they're ostensibly being used by human characters. So I like that. That being said, it is a little ridiculous for this game because that takes up the vast majority of your carry weight, or at least, I mean, if you're up to where I'm at, where you have 225, it takes up almost half of your total carry weight. So it's ridiculous. But with that being said, stat-wise, it starts off with a damage range of 39 to 42, which is fine. It's actually higher than a lot of weapons in the game, so it is worth trying out if you want a ridiculously heavy weapon that takes a ton of stamina to use. But that being said, if you upgrade it to level 5, it has 47 for the minimum damage. At level 10, it'll be 54. Level 20, it'll be 67. Level 40, it'll be 94. And to get it to a point where the minimum damage is at least 150, you have to upgrade it to level 82. So even though it starts as one of the highest damage weapons out of all of the two-handed weapons in the game, in fact, I'll alter that. It starts as the highest. So at level 1, the Cracked Stone Sword does more damage than any other two-handed weapon in the game. But it's also the one that takes the 5th longest to level up to the point where it deals 150 damage for a hit. So you can see that the upgrading has diminishing returns for a lot of weapons, and the Cracked Stone Sword is an example of that. So this one is not one that I recommend seriously. I only recommend it for the niche fact of like how unique it is as a weapon. So that is the Cracked Stone Sword. And let's move on to the other outlier that we have. So the other outlier for two-handed weapons is the Battle Axe, which I've got wielded right now. And this one is personally my absolute favorite two-handed weapon. And the reason for that is just the fact that it is in the medium weight category. So it takes way less stamina to use than most two-handed weapons. And like I said, you can upgrade it to be as good as you want. So even though it starts with lower damage, you can turn this one into, in my opinion, the absolute best two-handed weapon in the game. So that's my personal recommendation if you're looking for one. The Battle Axe is the one I choose just because it's the only two-handed weapon that is in the medium weight class. That being said, stat-wise, it starts off with the 16 to 25 damage range. If you upgrade it to level 5, you'll be at 30 for the minimum. Level 10 will be 43. Level 20 will be 70. Level 40 will be 126. And at level 50, it'll deal 150 damage as the minimum. I also really like the way this one looks. It's just got a very classic Danish great axe kind of look to it, which I, of course, love. And like I said, you can't beat the fact that it's so much lighter than all of the other two-handed weapons. So yes, yes, it's my favorite, and in my opinion, it's also the best two-handed weapon in the game. But now let's go through the top 5 for the heavy category, which is where most two-handed weapons fall. So coming in at number 5 for heavy two-handed weapons, we have the Spinebreaker, which is one of many hammers in this game. So there's a whole bunch of weapons in this game that have basically the same exact look. They've just got different names and stats. So the Spinebreaker takes the number 5 spot for heavy two-handed weapons for a bunch of reasons. For one thing, it ignores enemy blocks. So it doesn't matter if your enemy pops up their shield or tries to parry or whatever, the Spinebreaker smashes right through it. So it's very useful for that. On top of that, it has starting damage of 25 to 33, but as you upgrade it, it goes up. So at level 5, you're at 39. At level 10, you're at 52. At level 20, you're at 79. Level 40, you're 132. And by level 47, you're going to be dealing 150 damage with this one. So the Spinebreaker is super good. You know, I mean, all of these ones in the top 5 are going to be really good. I do like this one a lot, and it obviously has a lot of perks to it. Just the biggest one that makes it stand out being the fact that it comes with the ability to just smash right through blocks, which makes sense given the fact that it looks to be a 20 or 30 pound hammer, which would be absolutely ridiculous in real life, but in the game it only weighs 4. So that is the Spinebreaker at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. And number 4, we have one that is deceptively similar. It looks exactly the same, but it does have a different name. This one is the Cranium Crusher. So, like I said, same exact style, different name, different stats, different abilities. So this one starts off with a range of 26 to 30 for the damage, but once you level it up to 5, it'll be 40. At 10, it's 54. 20, it's 80. 40, it's 134. And by level 46, it'll be dealing 150 for the minimum. So this one, again, is basically the same thing. Takes a lot of stamina to use it, but the perk on this one is that it grants 25 stamina upon killing an enemy. So I like this one for a lot of reasons, the key of which being using two-handed weapons uses a lot of stamina. So with this one, as you smash down an enemy, you get a boost back to your stamina, which just keeps you in the fight longer, so you don't have to run around and skirt nearly as much. So the Cranium Crusher is a very useful weapon for that reason, in my opinion. So that is why it takes the number 4 spot. Well, that and the stats, obviously, is why the Cranium Crusher takes the number 4 spot for heavy two-handed weapons. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3, we've got the one simply labeled the Greatsword. It looks like a Zweihander from real life. This one's obviously quite cool. I love the appearance of it, and it's very fun to play with, especially if you're going for more of a knightly character as opposed to a tribal brute. So the Greatsword starts off with a damage range of 32 to 34, which is respectable on its own, but as you upgrade it, it gets better. So at level 5, you're at 46, level 10, you're at 59, level 20, you're at 86, level 40, you're at 139, and level 44 will have you at the 150 damage per strike zone for minimums. So the Greatsword is really good, and it's actually tied stat-wise with the number 1 and 2 spots for heavy. The only reason it takes the number 3 spot under those two is because it doesn't come with any special perks for it, so you can slot in weapon artifacts on it to give it special abilities, but it does not come with any. So that is the Greatsword. Let's move on to the number 2 one for heavy two-handed weapons. At number 2, we have another ridiculously large weapon, but at least this one does not appear to be made out of stone, and this one is appropriately named the Giant's Sword. So this one is one that you'll get by going after the more notable bandits. You can get the missions from Killian, who's downstairs or down on the first level of the castle that we're in right now. And you, when you kill one of the guys in there, the giant that you'll have to hunt down eventually, he will drop this weapon. So that's how you get it. So as far as stats on this one, it starts off with a damage range of 32 to 34. But at level 5, it's 46, level 10, it's 59, level 20, it's 86, level 40, it's 139, and by level 44, you'll be doing 150 as a minimum. So it's obviously good stat-wise. Like I said, these top 3 are all the same stats. This one, however, has a really cool perk to it where strong attacks deal double damage. For a lot of reasons, the Giant Sword is excellent, and that's why it takes the number 2 spot for heavy two-handed weapons. So finally, at number 1, we have another one that you get the same way as the last one. This will be done by hunting down one of the more notorious bandits for Killian. But once you do that, you'll get the Widowmaker, and so this one has, again, same stats as the last two. We start with a damage range of 32 to 36. At level 5, we're at a minimum of 46. Level 10, we're at 59. Level 20, we're at 86. Level 40, we're at 139. And at level 44, we will be doing 150 damage as a minimum. This one, our special ability that it comes with says when you kill an enemy, your next hit will be critical. So it's up for debate whether that's better than getting stamina back or dealing double damage. I find it to be very useful. I also like the aesthetic of this one considerably more than pretty much much any other two-handed weapon just because it's a actual realistic greatsword appearance-wise. Plus it has that cool shiny thing on the blade which makes it look a little bit magical, which I like. But that critical attack is nice. So after you get a kill, your very next strike on an enemy will deal critical damage without having to reduce their stamina or anything. So oftentimes that just means you get you kill one and then you immediately get another kill right afterwards. So the Widowmaker is one of the best looking weapons in the game. I definitely think it looks great, and it's worth getting and upgrading because it is very, very good and is the best, in my opinion, for heavy two-handed weapons. So, hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Hope it illuminated two-handed weapons in this game for you. In any case, that's all for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.